24th of January 2022.
A reality TV star has been making headlines recently because she is just making a financial killing selling her farts in a jar.
From news.com.au.
I'm Andrew Bucklow, and I've got news for you. What the That is honestly how most people would react after being told that there's a woman who is not only selling her own farts in a jar, but is also making hundreds of thousands of dollars from it. Today, I'm very excited to say that we are chatting to that fartrepreneur, and she's going to reveal how she came up with this unique business idea, and she's going to spill on some of the odd requests she's had from her customers.
So there was one guy, for example, who wanted cheddar cheese farts. So like the whole day, I was eating like a whole block of cheese pretty much.
You are going to be blown away by this interview, pun intended. I'll play it for you in just a moment. Alrighty, Stephanie Matto is an adult content creator and a reality TV star who you might know from 90 Day Fiancé. Now lately she's been generating headlines around the world and making big bucks from selling farts in a jar. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on I've Got News for You.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be on the podcast. Thank you so much.
You have no idea how excited I am. I have so many questions. The first one is, how did you come up with this idea of selling farts in a jar?
Oh my gosh. So I am the founder of a new 18 and up fan subscription platform called Unfiltered. And so, you know, I've kind of always been in this world and I've gotten a lot of strange requests over the years. And one that was very much so a reoccurring one has been guys wanting to smell my farts. And I thought it was always, you know, just joke, people just messing with me or like an exaggeration. But one day, just like out of pure boredom, I decided to do a batch of fart jars and see if they would sell. And much to my surprise, the first batch that I sold on my site actually ended up selling out.
Okay,
so that's kind of where it started.
So many questions. Do you literally just grab a jar and fart into it and then whack the lid on top? Is that how you do it?
So I did like a beta version of jars just to see what would be the most ideal method. And I found one method to be the best. And I the jars aren't cheap. I wanted people to get the most bang for their buck. So I found that the most potent way of capturing the farts was to take like a little fabric woven flower petal and fart directly onto the petal and then put it into the jar, seal it with a cork lid, and then saran wrap or tape it, and then put it into another bag.
And are there different types of scents? Like, do you have a bit of a range?
Yes, there have been some customers who wanted custom orders done. So there was one guy, for example, who wanted cheddar cheese farts. So like the whole day, I was eating like a whole block of cheese pretty much. But I feel like that takes a lot of, you know, additional effort and kind of it taints the entire batch to smell like what the one person wants. So I usually did protein, black bean salad. Once in a while, I would do these protein muffins, cabbage soup, but that doesn't really produce the best scent. So yeah, like I've even said on my YouTube channel, I'm kind of like the Einstein of fart jars. I have it down to like a mathematical equation.
Let's talk facts and figures. How many of these farts in a jar have you sold and how much money have you made?
So I did about 3 drop shipments of the jars, and it was anywhere between 90 to 100 jars in each shipment. And the price that I was selling them at was anywhere between $500 and $1,000 per jar. So when all is said and done, I did make close to $200,000.
Far out. That is incredible. What have you done with that money?
So I'm currently figuring out what I really want to do with that money. I know that I want to donate a portion of it to charity. And obviously, I put a lot of my money into crypto. I've always been really interested in cryptocurrency. I believe in the future of crypto. And so a lot of it has gone into that. And I did take a nice little vacation to Turks and Caicos like a week ago. So that was a nice little reward for, for the hard work, even though some people claim that it's not hard work. It is. It's been a lot on my body and my mental health. So yeah, that's what I've done so far.
We're going to get to the toll it's taken on your body in just a moment, but I want to know, where are your customers from? Are they mostly from the US or are they from other countries around the world?
Well, I've got some in Australia, and let
Uh-oh.
me tell you, that shipping is not fun. Shipping costs to Australia is a bitch. But usually my fans are mostly from, English-speaking countries, so I have a big fan base in the States, Canada, UK. I do have a lot in India, which is kind of interesting. I wonder why. But I have that. And then a lot of fans in Czech Republic, because I'm actually of Czech descent. So
Oh, there
I
you
have
go.
quite a big fan base from there.
Were you shocked at how many of these things you sold?
So the first batch that I shipped out, it was 97, and it didn't really surprise me all that much if you think about it, because I have like thousands of fans on my Instagram and on my unfiltered subscription page, and a lot of those people, they may not even just be fart enthusiasts or fart fetishists. They're just people who support my work and what I do. And they're the type of fans that they're really loyal. They're huge fans of the show that I was on. So they'll pretty much like buy anything just to support me. But then after that first shipment I did, it went viral and it really opened a lot of people's eyes to me and my business. And I started getting even more orders after that, because I was really on like the fart fetish map at that point. So I think that shocked me. And that, there's this whole community out there of men who really just want to smell a woman's fart.
What sort of feedback have you had from the customers? Do they just go, that was amazing, or, that was a fun present? What are they saying?
A lot of them just like, wow, goddess, amazing. A lot of that. And like one guy said that a jar came broken, so I actually had to send him another one. Although I don't know if he was lying, because he never sent me proof that the jar was broken. So I'm pretty sure he just wanted a free one. So that was like the only bad feedback I got, but everybody has been super nice. Like, people on my subscription site are always super sweet and kind. And the fart fetish community is very, very welcoming and accepting. It's the people, there's a lot of haters too. Like, a lot of people on my Instagram who've been messaging me and have been really rude and just spreading unnecessary hate.
All right, Stephanie, let's chat about the mental and physical toll that this Fart in a Jar company has taken on you. This has gained a lot of media attention all over the world. You mentioned that you get some haters on Instagram. How did your friends and family react when they found out you were doing this?
So my friends know that I have a very unconventional life, and I've always done weird, odd jobs. So they weren't really too surprised. Actually, one of my friends, Heather, she's just like, Stephanie, nothing you do surprises me anymore. So that was one of the reactions. I know there's some family members of mine, especially those in Czech Republic. They're a little bit more conservative and traditional, and they didn't really necessarily love the idea. I had one family member say that I'm like bringing shame to the family name.
Oh.
But yeah, and my mom thought it was weird, and she was a little bit concerned at first, because the way she found out was actually from her coworkers at her office.
Oh.
And she calls me one day and she's like, Stephanie, what is this thing about fart charts? So yeah, I had to like explain it to her. I was like, Mom, listen, just trust me. Like, I'm doing this because it's making good money. Like, I just trust me that this is like a smart thing to do for me right now. And so she just like had no choice but to just say, okay, well, I trust my daughter to do the best thing for her. So she actually has come around, and my mom's cool with it now.
Now, I read a headline the other day that you've received some death threats over this business. Is that right?
Yes. There's been people who have been harassing me, making several accounts. Like, I block people. I try not to engage, because that's the worst thing you can do with these haters is to respond. That's what they want. But there's people that literally make like accounts after I block them and just like keep persistently every single day sending me things, saying awful, disgusting things like that I should, that I should kill myself and things along those lines. And so it sucks because, I have sometimes bad days where I just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and then I read something like that and it doesn't help.
Yeah.
So it's definitely come at like a toll to my mental health. And I've had to just grow a stronger backbone.
Well, let's talk about the physical toll that this job has taken. Now, there was a bit of a health scare last week. Tell me about that.
Yes. So that's kind of when the story really blew up, which is so weird because I did not expect it to at all. Like, the story went viral when people found out I was selling jars of farts. And then like one of the publicists asked me for an update a few weeks later. And I was like, oh yeah, I was in the hospital. And then the next morning I wake up and it's everywhere. So I was like, I didn't know that like this was going to be published everywhere, like all over the internet. But yeah, I was doing my third batch of fart jars. It was like the week before Christmas and I had a ton of orders to do. And that day I woke up, I made myself 3 very large protein shakes and I made a big pot of black bean soup and I was working my way through it all day. And then by the time the evening rolled around, I was feeling so sick. Like there was a tightening feeling around my heart and my chest. I couldn't breathe in all the way. And so I was laying in bed that night and I couldn't breathe in fully. So I thought maybe I was having like a blood clot or a heart attack. So I called up my friend and I had my friend pick me up, take me to the emergency room because I was just like wanting to be safe and sorry.
Yeah.
And so they admitted me right away because they said that the symptoms that I was having sounded a lot like a heart attack. They performed an EKG. They did a blood panel to see if I was having a blood clot. And then, the doctor asked me a lot of questions about if I'm on any new medication or if I had any changes to my diet recently. And of course, like as soon as I told them what I've been eating, they were like, yeah, maybe we know the problem. So the EKG results came back perfect. Everything was fine. And they discharged me that night saying that it seems like I have like very severe gas pain. So I should take a Tums, an antacid, and some gas suppressant pills. And that was that. So that night I got home and I was like, well, it had to end at some point. All good things must come to an end. And, I felt like that was my moment to just say, okay, I'm done. I retire. Maybe I'll take some orders on just like on a case by case basis, like see if like maybe 1 or 2 people each month might want to get like a batch shipment of like 3 or 4 or 5 jars. But that's pretty much it. I knew that it had to end at that point.
All right, so you gave up the business after having a fart attack. You're now selling your farts in a jar as NFTs. Now, those who aren't aware what they are, they're non-fungible tokens. So can you just explain what's the NFT business and what do people get when they buy an NFT of your fart in a jar?
So the NFT world is like exploding right now. There's so many huge projects coming out and, it's making people into freaking overnight millionaires,
yeah.
With some of these projects. And I've always been into crypto. I've been investing into crypto and I've always had my eyes on NFTs and different NFT projects. And, a lot of these works of art are like collectible items that, can go up and down in value and are almost like a currency in some cases. And so I started working with a digital artist on a line of fart jar NFTs around the time of the hospitalization, but we made it official and like launched it after everything happened. And I felt like it was the direction that I wanted to go in. So we came up with 5,000 unique digital pieces of fart jar art, and they're all super adorable. And some of them actually do come with redeemable assets. So some of them unlock access to like a one-on-one coaching session with me to like, talk about branding and building your business.
Okay.
And some of them do come with redeemable physical fart jars as well, but only like very, very limited quantities. And it's been really great so far. The fart jar NFT project in its first week made over $120,000.
Wow.
So it was a pretty huge success, and there was a ton of chatter about it in the NFT community. And like, I think, this year it's been one of the most talked about NFT projects, which to me is crazy. It's awesome that I was able to break into this community, which can be somewhat, like hard to get into, hard to break into. There's so many people and there's so much great art out there. So it was cool that I was able to stand out.
Stephanie, you're such a resourceful person. You call yourself a fartrepreneur. Are there any other kind of business ideas that you've come up with apart from fart in a jar? Maybe something a little bit wacky that you're planning for the future that you think will get headlines around the world as well?
Yeah, I think so. So I've really been inspired by Valentine's Day coming up. And so I will be launching a very limited quantity of fart jar candles.
Oh, great idea.
That will be coming out. Yeah. And then I'm really just going to be focusing on the fart jars NFT project. If anyone wants to get them, they're available to mint on fartjarsnft.com. So yeah, hopefully they sell out. I think that they most definitely will. And, the options are limitless as far as where I can go with the whole fart jar ideas.
Susie Moore is an author, a life coach and a startup advisor. She's been featured on Oprah, the US Today Show and Forbes, and she's here to give us 5 tips on how we can start a side hustle. Susie, take it away.
Well, we are in a great position in 2022 to create a side hustle of any kind. It has never been easier in the history of humankind to become an entrepreneur. So I will leave you my 5 best tips today, and these are a really great place to get started. The first is to look at what you naturally like to do and what it is that you're good at. Because being a business owner, like anything else, has its challenges. So you want to be doing something that you enjoy. Because otherwise, when, there's a challenge or you hit a bump in the road, you're going to want to give up unless you really enjoy what it is that you're doing. So,
that's so true.
You want to have a natural, love, passion for what it is. And of course, that naturally lends itself to being good at it. So there has to be that element of interest from your heart involved.
Perfect. Okay, so follow something you love, what you're passionate about. That's a great tip.
Yes. And then secondly, this might sound counterintuitive, but you want to choose an existing market, meaning you want to enter a market where people are already paying for the things that you want to do. So, for example, when I started as a life coach, I felt like there were already, 3 million life coaches. And it was easy to feel overwhelmed by that and think, oh my gosh, there's no room for me. But actually, it means the opposite. It means people need this. It's a desire. It's a requirement. And they're already paying for life coaches. So you want to enter a field that's already buzzing because it means people want what it is that you have to offer.
Well, that's perfect because, you don't want to try and establish a market if you're just building a side hustle, I guess, because that takes a lot of effort. So going into something knowing that, yes, there is a market for it is a great idea.
Yes, and you don't want to have the whole runway of educating a market or starting from scratch. Let somebody else do that years ago, and then you can just come on in and capitalize. Heck yes, I always say let it be easy. Another thing, if you're looking for inspiration, is to consider what do people already come to you for? So I coach people on side hustles all the time, and they're like, I just don't know where to begin. And I'm like, okay, so look at the last few text messages on your phone. Consider the last couple of friends or coworkers who come to you for help. What is it with? Is it creating great resumes? Is it making an amazing dinner party at home? Is it being able to help, kids eat picky food? What is it that people naturally, they'll just come to you as they go to for advice in that area? Already, that's such a great insight into naturally what it is you have to offer. And we take for granted our gifts, Andrew. We so easily discount what it is that we're good at because it comes naturally, but other people really value it. So it's our time to monetize it.
That's a great idea as well, because I've got friends that I turn to for fashion advice because they're the people who dress well. And maybe they could turn that into a little side hustle. They could be a little, a fashion director or something like that.
I'm telling you, exactly. I know somebody who did that, a guy in New York who he was always very stylish, and guys would come to him saying, where'd you get your ties? Where'd you get your shoes? And he turned it into a male design side hustle, like what to wear to be a chic man. And I tell you, he was never short of clients. So yes, what are people asking you about? And it's something that you typically know. And so don't sell yourself short is what I really want to get across here. And this leads me to my next point, which is what feels fun and easy to you, right? Even if maybe you're naturally good at something, it might still feel like, look, I'm good at it, but it might not be what I want to do. Maybe, for example, you naturally are good at cooking, but it's not something that you feel like is, it maybe feels more of a chore than something that you enjoy. So you want to have that element of, curiosity and how can I expand this? And, it's something that feels good right now, but I'm curious to learn more, even educate myself more and more. So as I expand and my side hustle expands, I'm going to enjoy learning more about this field.
Yeah, you want to do something that you enjoy, don't you? You don't want to dread going to work every day, especially if it's a side hustle.
That's right. We already do that enough in our day job.
Yes, so true.
So the side hustle has to have an element of fun for you and curiosity. And, and you don't even have to be particularly experienced. It can be an area where you have just a seed of, okay, this is an area where I'd like to expand and I'm ready and I'm willing to do the work.
All right, Susie, what's your last tip?
This is a really fun one. And because a lot of people, I have to say women especially, are very nervous about asking for money, okay? But my recommendation is pre-selling anything before you create it. So get paid before you spend a cent. So, for example, as a life coach, I would have people pre-order 3 sessions with me before I spend any time with them. One of my clients, before she even created stationery, that was her side hustle, creating beautiful custom stationery, she got orders ahead of time. She emailed people that she knew. She just took a couple of samples of stationery she created on her iPhone, emailed them around, and said, would anyone like to put in orders for the holidays? Right now we're coming up to Valentine's Day, for example. You could do that. But do your best to get paid before you spend a single cent. Pre-selling is the way to do it. It feels great. You have money in the bank to spend, and it sets you up to make more and more money. And hey, look, we're all here for that money, honey. That's what side hustles are.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of I've Got News for You. I hope you enjoyed that interview with fartrepreneur Stephanie Matto. What a gutsy lady. I'll chat to you again tomorrow. Bye.